Welcome to Gentle Yoga. My name is Katherine. Today we are going to need a blanket and a chair, preferably a chair without arms. And then we're going to begin in child's pose. So if you can get into traditional child's pose on the floor, something like this, knees wide, walking the arms away from the body, please do that. If child's pose on the knees isn't a good fit for you, please come over to your chair. And you're just going to have a seat on the chair, scooting a little bit back towards the back of the chair, walk the feet a little bit forward, and then you can just kind of fold over the legs. This is a good position if you're feeling real tight in the back. Maybe you bring the fingertips to the feet. If you have a block or something, you can bring your fingertips to a block. That might be nice. But we'll just begin in child's pose. Whatever variation is a good variation for you. And so what's nice about child's pose, one of the many nice things about child's pose is you can really feel your belly pressing into your thighs. Letting your belly get really soft, and as you inhale, expand the belly into the thighs. And as you exhale, relaxing down towards the floor, letting your head go. It's okay if the head doesn't make it to the floor. And I'd like you to just imagine any stress or tension that you may be carrying in your mind or your body, just imagining it dissolve down towards the earth. Maybe if you're in the chair, you could feel it move down through the feet into the floor. Good, and then come on up. Those of you in the seat, you can stay in the seat. We're going to just do some cat-cow pose, so you can certainly do that in the chair if you need to. If you can do it on your hands and knees, you'll inhale, lifting your head and tail. Exhaling, rounding the back, dropping the head towards the floor. Keep moving with your breath. Right? So those of you in the chair, you just tilt the front of the pelvis towards the floor as you broaden your chest, and then exhale, tilt the front of your pelvis towards your face as you round the back, moving back and forth. And you might find that there's a particular position you want to hold your spine in for a couple of breaths. That feels good, maybe in the cat position or the cow position. Feel free to do that. We've got about 3 or 4 more breaths. And then we'll all bring our chest to our thighs. So sitting back in child's pose if you are on the mat, and if you are in the chair, come back into that child's pose position. So you're folding over the legs. Those of you who need to be in a chair, make sure your feet are walking forward enough, like maybe even the heels are a little bit in front of the knees on the floor, so that you're not going to fall forward. We're going to start to move into a variation of Vajrasana as we sweep our arms up and down, and I don't want you to fall out of the chair. All right, so we're going to bring the backs of our hands to the back of the pelvis, letting the head hang, chest over thighs, bringing your thighs together here, feet together, and then inhale, kick your feet into the floor, reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, rear goes back, chest comes forward as you fold over the thighs. A little gentle tap of the forehead on the floor. And then inhaling, feel your glutes work as you kick the feet into the floor to lift up, reaching up. And exhale, rear goes back, heart comes forward, hinging at the hips. Very gentle tap of the forehead on the floor. The inhale, feel the strength once again of your legs to help lift you up. And of course, folks who need to be in a chair, no problem. You got your heels on the floor just in front of the knees so you don't fall out of the chair. And you sweep the arms back. And then inhale, reaching out. Really nice way to lengthen the breath, strengthen the legs. Those of you in a chair, be very intentional about activating your glutes as you come up and down. There's a real engagement of the legs and glutes. Maybe even slowing the breath down a little bit if that feels good. Let's do a few more rounds of that. And then we'll meet with either our hands on the floor or just coming up to a seat if you're in the chair. Let's all move over to the mat and grab your blanket and fold up your blanket so you can have a seat on it in Sukhasana or cross-legged position. It's nice to sit on a blanket just to lift the hips up a little bit higher. We're going to be doing some chest and shoulder and neck work today, and it really helps the spine elongate if you're not, the hips aren't below the knees in this position. So feel free to fold up that blanket as high as you need to get it in order to feel supported. And we'll just roll our neck a little bit, roll our head. So with an exhale, drop the chin to the chest. And then inhaling, rolling left ear to left shoulder. Exhaling, chin rolls back down to chest. Try to keep your chest really broad. Inhaling, right ear to right shoulder. Breathing in and out of the nose if you can. The exhale is rolling that chin back down to the chest. And then just like that, just keep moving with your breath. The inhale rolling to one side. Some people really find it pleasurable to roll the head a little back further in space. If that's you, please do that. Exhale, rolling chin back down to chest. Try to keep this just in the neck. So letting the shoulders stay stable. Sometimes one of the shoulders want to kind of come with you as you roll the head. Keep the opposite shoulder away from the ear. Softening the tongue and jaw. Next time the head tilts over to the right, you'll pause there, moving your shoulders east and west away from each other. Soft tongue, soft jaw. I'd like you to keep your head heavy to the right, but slowly turn your head so you can look at the mat just to the right of you. Shoulder blades moving on to the back and down the back. Maybe tilting the head a little further back in space. One more breath like this. And then look forward and come back through center. We'll do the second side. Left ear hangs heavy to left shoulder. Broad chest. Whenever your next exhale arrives, turn your head to the left, looking to the floor. And the right shoulder is moving to the right. And again, some people find it really pleasurable to lean the head back a little bit in space. Please do that if that feels like a healthy stretch for you. I find with neck stuff, less is often more, so go easy on yourself. And with the next inhale, look forward and come on back up. So I'd like you to bring your right hand to the right side of your head, and you're going to try to push into your hand. Push, push, push. And the hand is pushing into your head. So they're coming together. They're feeling the muscles of the neck activate. So it's like I'm feeling the right side of my neck really work here. Soften your face. With the next exhale, release and just notice left and right. And then we'll do second side, left hand to left side of the face, left side of the head, pressing into that hand. Pressing, pressing. And it's always interesting whenever we're doing something with the neck, what's happening in the shoulders? It's sometimes unnecessary tension accumulates in the shoulders. Just see if that's happening for you. Maybe the tendency to have the shoulders ride up in space. One more round of breath pushing, and then release. Noticing both sides. And then we'll bring one hand to our forehead and create a wall with your hand to push your head into. Hand pushes to head, head pushes to hand. Keep breathing nice and slow. Completely evacuating your lungs every exhale, filling your lungs with each inhale. Good, and then release. We're going to interlace our fingers behind our neck. And then just playing around here. I find some mornings my elbows pointing forward feels really good as I press the back of my neck into my hands, chin slightly down, just so we can kind of traction the back of the neck. Um, Sometimes it feels really good to keep the elbows apart or even further apart. So feel into you. What kind of stretch would you prefer for your arms, your shoulders, while still getting a nice, like, kind of traction in the neck? So we're pressing the back of the neck into the hands into the back of the neck. One more round of breath here. And then let go. Can roll the shoulders both directions. Right hand to the floor, just to the right of you. Let's inhale the left arm up and take a nice side bend over to the right. As we pause here, breathing into the left side ribs. Each exhalation, imagine that left hip dropping a little further into the blanket. And here it's interesting to notice, what is the position of the head? Um, Is it coming forward? What would it be like if the chin was towards the throat and you leaned the head and the heart back just a little bit? Let's take one more round of breath. And then come on up, second side. Inhales to reach. The bottom shoulder, wrap it down so it's the left ear is away from the left shoulder is away from the left ear. Inflating the right ribs with the inhale. The exhale, dropping the right hip to the floor. And then if you feel like your head is jutting forward, try drawing the chin slightly towards the throat and then leaning the head and heart back any amount, even if it's just kind of like with the intention to lean the head and the heart back. Last breath. And inhale, come on up. You're going to come off of your blanket and put it to the side. Sit on your rear, kick your feet out in front of you, knees bent. See, I'm going to show you side view here. So hands will come out back behind you, and you're going to just windshield wiper the knees side to side. Next time the knees windshield wiper to the left, leave them there. You're going to come on up. The bottom foot is cradling your right shin. Sit up nice and tall, and your left hand is going to walk behind you a little bit further. Let me see if I can show you. Okay. Left hand walks behind you a little bit further. Vertical spine. Your right hand, that back of it comes to the top of the bottom knee, right? And so you're using your right arm like a lever to help rotate your heart to the left. Inhale, lengthen your heart up out of the waist, and then exhale, turn your head to the right, chin towards right shoulder. We're breathing some length into the left side body. This is a sage twist variation. One more breath here. And then coming on out of it, you're going to untwist. Both hands come back behind you, feet on the floor. Windshield wipering those knees side to side. Next time knees go right, leave them there. The bottom foot is cradling the top shin. Sit up nice and tall. Your right hand's going to come back behind you. Rotating heart, head to your right. Left back of hand comes to top of knee. Lifting heart vertically on the inhale. And the exhale, you'll turn your head to the left, chin towards left shoulder. Just breathing here, feeling the length in the right side trunk. So it's a little counterintuitive. Perhaps this twist, you're twisting your heart to the right, but your head is moving to the left. You're looking at your left knee. That's your top one. We'll take one more breath. And then inhaling, come on out of it. And we're going to come on to stand. Find your chair, and we'll come into a variation of downward dog with our chair. Grab your chair, bring the front 2 feet to the top of the mat. And before we come into it, I'd like you to just to stand about a trunk's length from the seat of your chair, toes pointing forward, kneecaps pointing forward, and bend your knees. And as you bend them just a little bit, keep the thighs parallel and then fold forward. Keep those knees bent as you slide your hands towards the back of the chair. So here it's almost like I'm sitting in an imaginary chair as I walk my hands forward on the seat of the chair. And if you find that your knees are like over your toes here, I encourage you to shift the weight of your body back into your heels so that your bum is really floating back behind the heels. On an inhale, broaden the chest, maybe look towards the seat of the chair. And then on the exhale, let your gaze fall to the floor, but keep lifting your head so that your ears are in line with your biceps or your upper arms. And then just pausing here. So the tendency here might be you might really want to straighten those knees. That's there's a place and a time for that, but for today, I'm going to ask you to keep those knees bent, thighs parallel, reaching your hips back in space so we can really create a lot of length in the spine and facilitate a greater opening in the chest. Last breath. Good, and then come on up. And come on up to stand. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. And just take a moment noticing the rhythm of your breath. Good. And then release the arms alongside the body. So, often in this class, we do a lot of pelvic tilting, right? So, um, sometimes I like to explain it like back in the day, people used to have days of the week on their underwear. I guess as like a little girl, that was like a really big thing for me. Like, like, what is it? It's today's Monday. Okay. So imagine you have Monday on the front of your underwear. And what you're doing is you want to bend your knees slightly, and I want you to tilt the Monday towards the ceiling just a little bit, right? So your knees are going to be bent, tilt the Monday towards the ceiling. And this would be posterior tilted of the pelvis. It lends itself to kind of tucking the tailbone. This can be problematic for the back, the rest of the body. And then now tilt the Monday on the front of your underwear towards the floor, and now the pelvis tilts forward, and now we're anterior tilted. So I mean, together, like, you want to be able to do all of them, but it's important to be aware of, like, well, what direction is your pelvis tilted in certain positions, and it's going to really help your practice. So I want you to find a position that it feels you're neither too tucked nor too spilling forward, a neutral pelvis, those kind of middle ground here, feet planted into the floor. And then I'd like you to bring your arms, I'd say about half a foot away from your hips. And then with the elbows bent, just start swinging elbows out and in, out and in. Now keep your pelvis in a neutral position as you're doing this. And I want you to notice as you do this, what's happening to the shoulder blades. Just let your shoulders be soft, let them do whatever they want. So typically, when you spiral your inner upper arm behind you, the shoulder blades just naturally come off the back. The upper back naturally rounds just a little bit. When you spiral your inner upper arms in front of you, it's a little bit easier to draw the shoulder blades together behind you and then lift the heart for a little bit taller standing position. So I'd like you to keep that in mind as we come into this next position, right? So shoulder blades on the back, moving them down the back away from the back of the head. So come on over to your chair. We're going to sit side saddle to the left in your chair. So hopefully you've got one that a chair that has no arms, but maybe you can slide your legs underneath the arms if that's a possibility. You're sitting side saddle, and you're going to step your right leg back. You can totally do this on your knees, but this is nice because everyone can do this. You don't have to worry about if your knees are sensitive or not, or weight on the knees. So you have your right thigh bone dropping towards the floor on a generally kind of moving towards a vertical line. And I want you to engage the legs and really press your feet into the floor. So press like I'm going to be like, stand up, right? So the front heel is underneath the knee. The ball of the foot is on the floor, the back foot. Engaging the glutes. And now I'd like you to tilt the front of your pelvis towards your face a little bit. So posterior tilt. And then right arm's going to hang, elbow bent. Spiral inner upper arm towards the wall in front of you, whatever you're looking at. Draw shoulder blades on the back, and imagine you're holding a platter, like you're a waiter or waitress holding a platter, really pasting those shoulder blades onto the back. And then just pause here. So hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch in the top of the right thigh. You're strengthening the muscles between the shoulder blades to help draw the shoulder blades together and down. Pressing the feet deep into the planet. One more breath. Now let go of the arm. Keep the legs as they are. And then inhale, sweep the right arm up. Let that shoulder blade come up towards the ear. That's totally fine. We're going to side bend over to the left. Pressing the back foot deeper into the planet. Deepening the stretch on the right side body. One more breath. And then inhaling, coming on out of it. Pivot to sit regular styly in the chair or on your knees, yeah, if you're doing this on the floor, and just take a moment noticing right and left side of the body. And then we'll do the second side. So pivot to the right, step left foot back, pressing the feet into the floor. Like I'm going to ask you stand up, squeeze the glutes, and then start to slightly tilt the front of your pelvis towards your face. Tilting it slightly towards the face to help deepen the stretch in the front of the thigh, left thigh that is. Left arm's going to hang. You can hold on to the back of the chair with the opposite. And spiral your inner upper arm to face the wall you're looking at. And then paste those shoulder blades together and down onto the back. Flatten the back. Bend the left elbow and hold a platter. Low belly's pulling in to support this. Lots of strength in the legs. I will tell you that I had to turn off my AC for the mic, but I will tell you I'm sweating a little bit, right? So I'm really working hard. Feet into the floor, shoulder blades onto the back. Slight tilt of the pelvis. Last breath. Exhale, relax. Relax the shoulder, but keep the legs strong rather. And then inhale, just sweep the left arm up. Let that shoulder blade come up towards the ear. We're going to side bend to the right. Squeeze the glutes. Press the feet into the floor. One more round of breath. And then inhale, come on up. Come to a neutral position and just take a moment now, noticing left and right side of the body. Good. Okay. So this whole spiral of the arms, really can help you potentially experience back bend positions or just standing tall and open-hearted in a new way, helping facilitate a stretch in the muscles of the chest a little bit deeper and strengthening the upper back, which we need to help us stand tall and open-hearted. So come on up to stand, and we're going to do a variation of Warrior 3. I encourage you, if you feel a little unsteady on your feet, to have the seat of the chair in front of you. Yeah. So I'm standing in front of the chair here for a moment. And from this position, finding a neutral pelvis, belly pulling in to support this. And then I spiral my inner upper arms towards the chair in front of me, squeezing the shoulder blades together and down the back. And then shifting the weight of the body into the right foot, you're going to step that left foot back behind you. And so the toes of the left foot are on the floor. Careful not to lock your standing leg knee. That's going to cause some problems with balance. So slight bend of the standing leg. Now, you might stay here, engaging the glutes, working on spiraling the inner arms towards the wall in front of you. Or maybe if you would like more of a challenge, you dip the chest down, you lift the back leg up, any amount. This is still a variation of Warrior 3, right? Traditionally, like Warrior 3 is your body, the line of your body is on a parallel line with the floor. But if you're getting a strengthening action in your back body, if you're breathing, you can certainly start here, right? So you could go all the way to a parallel line. This is a gentle yoga class, but I do want to help you get strong. So 1 or 2 more breaths here. Spiraling the inner upper arms towards the wall in front of you. And then land the back foot. Hop the front foot forward a little bit. We're doing a variation of Parshvottanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up, let those shoulder blades come on up, let the shoulders relax as you sweep up. And then exhale, hands to the seat of the chair. As you walk the hands forward, feeling a stretch behind the front leg, that's your right one. Some of you might like to bring your fingertips to the floor, please do. I do ask though that the right toes are pointing straight forward. And you're really pressing the ball of that right foot into the floor like you're pumping a gas pedal and reaching the right hip away from that foot. See if you can get your spine as long as possible in this position. Thanks. I love this pose. I feel like it helps cultivate strength and stretch. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then step your back foot forward. Come on up to stand and just noticing left and right side of the body. And then from here, we'll start from the top. So from mountain pose, start that spiral of the inner upper arms towards the wall in front of you. Again, you've got a neutral pelvis here. Tendency sometimes as we come into back bends would be to kind of like stick the butt out, and then the lower back gets a little crunched. So that's why I'd like you to keep some awareness in the pelvis. Shift the weight to your left foot and step your right foot back. Feel the right glutes work. Belly pulling in. And as we step that right foot back, maybe the pelvis starts to tilt towards the floor. If that's the case, counter it. Use your tummy to help tilt the front of the pelvis towards the face slightly. And then finding your variation of warrior 3 on this leg. Right, so as the chest dips, the leg lifts. So you're staying kind of all in one plane with the back body, right? You could even come all the way down to a more parallel with the floor position. Again, meet yourself wherever you are today, and highly likely this leg will feel different than the other. Shoulder blades together, moving down the back, tummy in. One more breath. And then land the back foot, step the front foot forward, relax the shoulders, arms. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, Parshvottanasana. Pumping the gas with your front foot as you reach the front hip, or the left hip away from the chair, away from the foot. And if your hands are on a chair or whatever they're touching, see if you can use the extension of the arms to help extend the spine, to help broaden the chest. So walking those hands away from the body. Maybe deepening the breath, slowing it down. Exhale completely. And inhale and own up. Okay. We're gonna come onto our back and do kind of, I guess, the more traditional. Those were back bends. But we're gonna do more traditional back bends. I'm gonna have you grab your blanket, and just for some kinesthetic awareness, I want you to drape. We're gonna lay face down. I'm gonna have you drape your blanket or towel across your feet. So um, towel or blanket is on my feet. I'm gonna come onto my belly. And so we're going to do a variation of locust pose, but I don't want you to lift your feet up, and that's why the blanket is there. It's really easy to forget and just lift up your feet and contract the whole back body. But I'd rather like you to think about you're rooting down through the tops of your feet, and that rooting down, pushing the tops of the feet into the floor is going to help ground you, to help strengthen the upper back and lift your heart into the pose. So begin by forehead on the floor, arms alongside the body. Spiral your inner upper arms towards the floor as you wrap the shoulder blades together and down the back. The palms will be face down, just like we were standing in mountain pose. Engage the glutes, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor, maybe so much that the knees come off the floor a little bit, but the tops of the feet stay rooted. And then inhaling, peeling your heart and head and arms off the floor, using just the strength of your back and legs to lift. On the exhale, lower down, bring your left cheek to the mat. Take a free breath here, just relaxing completely. And then on the next inhale, we'll do it again. Press the feet down, contracting the back body to lift. Feet stay down. On your next exhale, release body to the floor, right cheek to the mat. See if you can let the body completely relax. Okay, we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, engaging, wrapping shoulder blades onto the back as you spiral the inner upper arms towards the floor. And it's like you're really extending the back of the skull away from the back of the heart as you gaze at the floor. Let's take one more round of breath lifted here. And then exhale, stack your forearms, crocodile pose. Let your forehead rest on your forearms and shimmy your hips. You can kick the blanket off the feet. Take the feet wide. Let your belly soften. Big belly breath as you breathe in. Exhale the breath out the mouth. Sphinx pose. So feet are about hips width distance apart. Prop yourself up on your elbows. Check the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. And your forearms are parallel, looking like a couple of skis. Even here, even though our arms and our hands are rooted and anchored to the floor, we can still engage the muscles that would spiral the inner upper arms towards the wall in front of us to help draw the shoulder blades onto the back. So see if you can do that. My arms aren't moving, my hands aren't moving. I'm just engaging the muscles of the shoulders and the back that would help spiral the inner upper arms towards the wall in front of me. And really lifting up out of those shoulders. And then keep all this as you try to, your hands are glued to the floor, your arms are glued to the floor. You're going to try to actually pull your heart through the gate of your shoulders. Soften the jaw and slowly lower your head, stretching the back of the neck, pushing the elbows into the floor. Maybe even turning the head a little side to side. You don't have to completely let the neck go. For some people, that may not feel good. Maybe you just lower the head as much as feels healthy and pleasurable. Keep pushing the elbows into the floor. One more breath. And then come on down, crocodile pose. Shimmy the hips. Take the feet a little wider if that feels good. Let the body relax. Let the belly relax. And now we're going to try to stretch the muscles around the armpit and potentially the front of the right chest by extending the right arm, not out to the right. I know often it happens directly out to the right, but now I want you to extend instead to extend the right arm just over the right corner of your mat. Pull the shoulder blade onto the back. Bring your right cheek to the mat and bend your left knee, drawing it towards the top left corner of the mat. So here you're kind of like half a frog, half of a frog leg on the left side, right arm coming on diagonal away from the body. Spread those right fingers. So even here, I'm feeling a stretch in around the muscles of the right armpit and the front of the right chest. Interesting sensations around the right neck. Some of you, if you feel like you need more sensations after breathing into this posture, sometimes we have to be in a situation to fully respect the gravity of it. If you need more, you would try to push the left hand into the floor to lift the left shoulder a little higher to add a little bit more intensity to the stretch in the right arm, right shoulder. Your breath will tell you, it will let you know what to do. Make sure you can keep breathing. And then from here, we'll straighten the left leg, come back through center, bend the right elbow, and we'll do the second side. So left arm on diagonal away from the body, right over that left shoulder, left cheek to the mat. Right knee bends, you're your half of a frog. Now, how high you draw the right knee up towards the top of the mat just depends. Hopefully, you're getting a little bit of a stretch in the inner right thigh. And of course, after fully assessing the gravity of this situation, maybe you decide you want to increase the stretch. You would just push the right hand into the floor, lifting the right shoulder a little bit. And more is not always better, right? Couple more breaths. And then coming back through center, we're going to just flip on over to our backs. Knees bent, feet on the mat. Just take a moment and appreciating the curvature of your spine, noticing what areas of the spine touch the floor. Noticing your pelvis, the left and right side of your pelvis. Try to get it level. And then extending arms left and right. You're going to lift your hips up and swing them just about an inch to the right and land them down. So now your bum is kind of kinked off to the right. From here, you're going to cross your right thigh over your left leg, drawing your knees into the chest, and then swinging the legs to the left. Now, if you have knee sensitivities, I encourage you instead just to do a simple twist. The legs are stacked, and you can just kind of bring the top hand to the top leg if that's a better fit for you. If you want to do the cross-legged variation, you just move those legs off to the side. Like I'm doing the cross-legged variation. My top knee and my bottom leg, actually, they're not really coming to the floor, but I'm still enjoying a nice stretch in the outer right hip. Maybe turning the head to the right. When the exhale arrives, come on back through center, untangle the legs, hop your pelvis back through center, take a moment. And then hop the pelvis to the left, just about an inch. Maybe you cross the legs, maybe not, but we all draw the thighs towards the chest and move the knees off to the right second side. Doing your best to create a lot of length in the spine as you're here, maybe gazing at the ceiling. And as we come into twists, it can be nice to not include the head, like don't do the neck part of twists until the very end. That way, all the good stuff below, all the maybe tighter areas and the bigger joints, bigger places of tightness can get an opportunity to loosen. That will afford a little bit more stretch in the neck. And then maybe the last round of breath or two, maybe you want to turn your head to the left. When the exhale arrives, come on back out of it, untangle the legs, hop back through center, feet are on the floor, arms alongside the body, and just take a moment, notice. Next, moving into bridge pose, please keep your gaze on the ceiling as you move into this. You're going to walk the heels closer towards the rear, feet parallel, thighs parallel. Bend your elbows so you look like a robot or like Barbie doll arms. And this is pretty cool because it can also help draw the shoulder blades onto the back. So let's just do that right now. You're going to bend those elbows, press them down, walk the shoulder blades flat underneath you, sliding them down the back if you can, and then lifting the hips. And here you are with the elbows pressing into the floor. You're a little robot or Barbie doll style, you pick. Lifting the hips, pressing the feet down, all corners of the feet as you gaze at the ceiling. Important not to turn your head in a position like this. Now, if you're finding this is a really nice way to broaden the chest and keep the shoulder blades down and together on the back, please do. Some of you might want to interlace the fingers underneath you. That feels like healthy and helpful. Go for it. We'll be here for about 2 or 3 more breaths, feeling the strength of our glutes. Keeping those thighs parallel, gaze on the ceiling, chin pointing towards the ceiling, heart moving towards the chin. And then the exhale, release your bind if you took one. Return the rear to the floor. Keep gazing at the ceiling as you just rest, walking the feet as wide as the mat and letting the thighs fall together. Please avoid um, just pulling the knees right into the chest after a back bend. Just let the thighs fall together. Give yourself a few moments of just neutral pelvis, neutral spine. I'd like you to think of 3 things that you're grateful for. It could be very small things. 3 things you have gratitude for in your life. And then take a deep breath in, reach your arms overhead, extend your legs long. Big morning stretch. Slowly draw your right knee into your chest. Apanasana, hugging that right thigh in. And left knee into chest, extend right leg. Good, and then extending the legs. Shavasana. You're welcome to stuff a blanket underneath the thighs if you like. Maybe throw your legs up the wall if that feels good. Find a Shavasana that feels like a healthy expression of relaxation and pleasure for you. I do invite you to continue our theme of keeping the shoulder blades down the back, flattened under the body, and spiraling your inner upper arms towards the ceiling in whatever position you're in. So the palms up is a really nice way to facilitate that. And then finding your relaxation pose, Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath, beginning to move the fingers and toes, and then moving the body a little bit more until you're ready for a big morning stretch, reaching the arms and legs away from each other. With an exhale, give your legs a hug. And then rolling to one side, use your arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat of your choice. Sitting nice and tall and broad chested. Once again, we're just going to roll our head, um, opening up the neck. So exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, rolling right ear to right shoulder. Maybe rolling the head back behind you for a moment. And then exhaling, rolling the chin back down to the chest. Keep the chest open. Inhaling, rolling left ear to left shoulder. Maybe head comes back a little bit. Exhale, chin back to chest. And inhale, go ahead and lift the head. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. And if you're able to cultivate any feelings of pleasure or awareness or strength in your practice today, I invite you to think of someone special in your life who could maybe use some of these qualities. And imagine that you could gift these qualities to them with an exhale. So you're going to visualize wherever they may be in their day, and we'll send out the goodness of our practice on the exhale. Take a big inhale to gather it up, send it out. See them smiling, feeling good, strong, relaxed. Thank you for practicing today. Namaste.